Pluto, insane new images show there's something unusual going on. Pluto, once considered the 9th planet, is the most prominent member of the Kuiper Belt and the most well-known of a new class of worlds known as dwarf planets. However, scientists have recently discovered some insane images that show something unusual is going on with Pluto that could cause a significant shift in the planet's history. What exactly did they discover? What are the unusual things, and what exactly did they mean? Keep watching to find out. Pluto is an icy planet with ices of carbon monoxide and nitrogen at its core. It was the first Kuiper Belt object ever found and remains the largest body ever found there. But after several Kuiper Belt objects of comparable sizes were found in the 1990s, some scientists began to doubt Pluto's status as a planet. In 2006, NASA launched the New Horizons probe to analyze Pluto, which was once thought to be our solar system's 9th planet. After 9 years of travel, New Horizons arrived at Pluto and became the first spacecraft to travel to the distant world. The International Astronomical Union recategorized Pluto as a dwarf planet the same year, but that didn't make it any less of a target for human exploration. In December 2014, NASA brought the probe out of hibernation to prepare for the Pluto encounter and to relay data back to Earth. NASA's New Horizons probe sped past Pluto 5 years ago, giving humanity its first close-up view of the distant world, discovering glaciers and mountains of water ice. Since New Horizons can only transmit 1 to 2 kilobits of data per second with a total data volume of about 6.25 terabytes, it took 15 months to download all of the data obtained during its trips with Pluto and Charon. Without a doubt, the wait was worthwhile. The surface of Pluto appeared to be incredibly young in the first New Horizons images, with a mountain range rising to a height of 11,000 feet. Although it's unknown what caused it, this range, which is thought to be at most 100 million years old, demonstrates recent geological activity on the surface. The mission captured numerous photos of Pluto's geological activity, including jagged mountain ranges made of solidified water ice, frozen methane dune fields, and the solar system's largest glacier. This altered how scientists think about and investigate icy planets, illustrating how much variability was possible even on the coldest frozen worlds. The probe has now traveled 50 astronomical units from Earth. That's over 7.5 billion kilometers. However, data from the Pluto flyby is still being analyzed by astronomers, and new research suggests that Pluto is alive and not as peaceful as it appears. But how did astronomers reach this conclusion? Something utterly unexpected and amazing that has never been observed on any other planet in the solar system has been revealed by the New Horizons images. Images and compositional data from the New Horizons mission demonstrate that the terrains of Pluto range in age from extremely young surfaces with no impact craters to ancient places. The rises of humpbacked flanks are the dominant feature in one of the zones with few impact craters. There are no other characteristics like these in the observed solar system. In a nutshell, images of Pluto's surface show numerous bumpy volcanoes raised to various heights. Surprisingly, there were no impact craters from asteroids or meteors nearby, unlike the rest of the planet. Furthermore, there was no evidence of plate tectonic activity, which is critical in mountain formation on Earth. So what do these factors show? These factors indicated that this surface was formed due to a recent geologic disturbance, possibly a volcanic eruption that occurred within the last 2 billion years. 2 billion years may appear to be a long time, but it's not that long on the cosmic timescale and can be considered a recent event. According to the findings, both endogenic and exogenic processes have resulted in significant and continuous resurfacing on Pluto's surface. But that's not it. There's still much more to go. With a radius of 715.2 miles or 1,151 kilometers, Pluto is the biggest object in the Kuiper Belt. Bulk density constraints for a differentiated Pluto show that its outer 300 kilometers of surface are covered in water ice, while its core is made of rocky material with a poorly defined carbonaceous component 6. Pluto is predicted to have maintained shallow levels of radiogenic heating for a significant portion of its history based on the abundance of its rocks. Charon, Pluto's biggest moon, probably originated due to a significant grazing encounter with Pluto. Other scientific discoveries made by New Horizons include evidence of an ancient ocean beneath Charon's surface and bizarre water ice hills floating in frozen nitrogen on Pluto. A 2018 study postulates that Pluto's surface might be covered with a thin asphalt coating. The surface of Pluto, despite being so far from the Sun, may contain the building blocks for life, according to some scientists. However, Pluto's story remains essentially one of ice. The only ice on Earth is frozen water. Nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide all freeze solid on Pluto. The most stunning feature of NASA's New Horizons probe was a heart-shaped area named Tombaugh Regio after the man who discovered Pluto. The left side is mainly covered by nitrogen snow, while the right side is mostly covered by methane ice. Regarding Pluto's volcanic features, two peaks that tower over the dwarf planet's surface have long perplexed planetary scientists. The first is a mountainous feature known as Right Mons. This surface entity is approximately 150 kilometers wide, extends to nearly 5 kilometers above the surface, and has a central depression nearly 50 kilometers across. The second feature, Picard Mons, rises to nearly 7 kilometers in height and has a width of approximately 225 kilometers. Even though Pluto's diameter is only 1/6 that of Earth, the total volume of this volcano is comparable to that of Hawaii's Mauna Loa, one of our planet's largest volcanoes. These enormous surface structures were discovered for the first time in July 2015 by the New Horizons spacecraft as it passed the planet. They are located on the southwest edge of the Sputnik Planitia ice sheet, which is the lighter region on the left of Pluto's renowned heart-shaped feature. This sheet is characterized by a nearly 1,000-kilometer wide ancient impact basin and is primarily made up of folds and rises that resemble wrinkles on an otherwise flat layer of ice. Researchers suspect that multiple eruption sites near each other must have fueled the formation of such a terrain after carefully analyzing the images that New Horizons captured. It's possible that the ice layers created by the material blasted during the subsequent cryovolcanic eruptions covered the entire area. Additionally, thorough research shows that the surface substance in this area is primarily water ice rather than nitrogen or methane ice, which is typically present in other younger regions of the planetary surface. And this increases the probability of cryovolcanic activity even more. However, a consistent heat source must be present to fuel the eruptions for volcanoes to be active. For instance, the radioactive decay in the Earth's interior is the primary energy source for volcanism on Earth. In some instances, the tug-of-war brought on by the gravitational interaction with large nearby objects can also produce this heat. That's the primary cause of Io's volcanism. But as far as Pluto is concerned, neither of these scenarios bodes well. Neither the planet's neighbors nor the amount of rocky material in Pluto's core is powerful enough to generate sufficient tidal and gravitational forces to warm its interior. So, all in all, Pluto has a rock-like, hard, frozen surface with an average surface temperature of roughly minus 240 degrees Celsius, and it's so far from the Sun that it can't melt quickly even with other heat sources. Then from where does this heat originate? The only possibility that makes sense in light of all the evidence is that the dwarf planet still has heat trapped during its formation, most likely in a deep ocean beneath its frozen crust. These oceans exist on even more cold worlds in the solar system, including Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Enceladus. Enceladus has additionally demonstrated regular cryovolcanism by replenishing one of Saturn's rings and ejecting rigid material into space. However, outside of Pluto, no other planet in the solar system has shown evidence of massive clusters of frozen volcanoes dispersed across a field and uniting to regenerate an icy surface. But remember that the New Horizons spacecraft only flew over the region for one day, so it's still unclear whether Pluto's cryovolcanism is still active or if the exotic ice volcanoes have gone dormant. Additionally, if it's still active, it would raise the chances of discovering a liquid ocean and, who knows, perhaps even life. Regarding the position of the New Horizons and what we could expect in the future, as of August 2022, New Horizons is 53 AU away from the Sun. The probe is almost out of the Kuiper Belt, so there isn't much chance it will run into something that can be studied up close. Still, because of where it is, New Horizons is in a unique position to observe faraway trans-Neptunian objects and keep an eye on the weather in space. After the Voyager probes stop talking to each other, which will happen in a few years, it'll be the only spacecraft in operation at the edge of the solar system. By extending the mission, scientists can get a lot of helpful information from this little studied area. There's also a chance that New Horizons will remake the famous pale blue dot photo. During the flight, New Horizons receives power from a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, RTG. The station generated about 250 watts when it was launched. Nevertheless, its power gradually decreases as plutonium-238 decays and the thermocouple gradually deteriorates. At the time of the Arrokoth flight, the New Horizons RTG gave out about 190 watts. By 2032, this figure will drop to 150 watts, which is the minimum power required to maintain radio contact with New Horizons. However, it's possible that the mission specialists may be able to extend the service life of some onboard equipment by using Voyager's experience. Nevertheless, the possibility of life on Pluto is intriguing, and it's certainly worth further exploration. So, there you have it. Pluto, once considered a planet, is now classified as a dwarf planet by the government. Nevertheless, this doesn't mean Pluto is any less interesting or important. Recent discoveries by the New Horizons probe have shown something unusual going on with Pluto. So what does all this mean? Well, it's still too early to say for sure. However, it's possible that there could be some form of life on Pluto. This is certainly an intriguing possibility and one that warrants further exploration. Only time will tell what we will discover about this fascinating universe. What do you think? Is there life on Pluto? Or is it just a barren, frozen world? Let us know in the comments below. And thanks for watching. See you in the next video.